It is commonly believed that the AK-47 style rifles are not very accurate. But whose fault is it? It's your fault. So why is this happening? Why we have issues when shooting the 7.62 by 39? And usually what's happening, you will see when people are switching to the AK-74 style rifles in 5.45 by 39 or AKs in a 5.56 by 45, their performance improves. Magically, the AK shoots really decently versus 7.62 by 39. This is very simple answer to that. If you will look at the performance of the 7.62 by 39 cartridge, it is rather sluggish. And I ran thousands of rounds through the lab radar gathering the information, and on average you will see the 7.62 by 39 commercially made hovering around 2300 feet per second. Sometimes it pushes past 23 and reaching 2350. That's what you really want to see, but many manufacturers somehow maybe they chipping out on that powder charge. It's trending rather below 2300. Let's assume we got 2300 feet per second as a standard speed or average speed, I should rather say. Now compare this to the 74 style rifles in 5.45 by 39 and you will see right away that the 5.45 will be pushed around 3000 feet per second or even more. Now when you go to the 5.56 AKs, in some cases 55 grain will be flying 3100 and above feet per second. So we have almost 700 feet per second difference between the traditional 7.62 by 39 and the 5.45 or 5.56 AKs. Now that's almost 30% difference in the speed of the bullet. Now if the bullet spends more time in the barrel, it will expose any mistakes you made behind the rifle. It basically boils down to your basic marksmanship and the fundamentals. Now Brian Litz and the guys from the Applied Ballistics did fantastic job capturing what's happening to the rifle before the bullet even leaves the barrel. And in a slow motion footage you can see that the rifle actually moves when that bullet still goes through the barrel before leaving the muzzle. And with the AK, that effect will be amplified even more because it is a slow moving bullet, of course, right? So that bullet spends more time in a barrel, that gives you more time to make the errors behind the rifle shifts, moves, and of course what you're seeing as the end results, the grooves are opening. This is undesirable effect. Another factor, if you will think about it, is too that the AK overall as a rifle is rather light. The weight clicks around 8 pounds on average, and depends what kind of accessories or furniture you may have. But again, this is not really heavy rifle, and it is much more prone to amplifying the mistakes you made as the shooter. So, how we can combat this? How we can squeeze out more of that accuracy when behind the AK? As I said, it will boil down to your basic marksmanship and fundamentals. So, you will have to work on yourself, on the grip of the rifle when shooting, especially from the prone position, making sure that you are as steady as possible. If possible, all the time try to use some front support. If you cannot, at least try to use the magazine support to rest the magazine on the ground and use this to support the rifle up front. In the back, if possible, if you can use the shooting bag, that's awesome. If not, try to use your left hand. If you are right-handed shooter, try to use your left hand to support that stock of the rifle and keep it as steady as possible. I know it sounds cliche, but remember, because of the time, how much that bullet will spend in that barrel, it is extremely important for you as a shooter to ensure stability of the rifle and eliminate as much motion of the stock and the whole rifle as possible. Now, that's not always possible because we may have some tactical situations and things like this, but we're talking here more about the recreational shooting and performance of the rifle and how we can squeeze out as much as we can from it. That being said, you may find yourself in a situation when you will have to take some rather precise shots, and maybe you will be in a position to use AK to deliver them. So do not short sell AK. But another thing which also plays a huge difference will be a trigger. And I'm not telling you to go and start buying different triggers. No, that's not my point. Even the regular trigger on AK could be improved by taking a little bit of the sandpaper, working out on the polishing the edges and all these contact points which are in play. And that would make your life behind this rifle much better, because the trigger will be predictable, because that's what we are looking for, right? The most often thing what I'm seeing from the people shooting AKs, their triggers are very gritty, and there is that friction, and trigger is somehow unpredictable. It breaks, it feels like it breaks at different points. We want to avoid that. So with a little bit polishing, and there are tons of videos on the net already about that. YouTube didn't take them down yet, but by polishing that trigger, you can ensure the good performance. Then of course there is an aftermarket, and you can buy the good triggers for the AK if you don't want to spend any time working on the internals by yourself. But that's the different subject. Maybe we'll touch it at some point. But the trigger and the good control of the rifle will ensure better performance at the end. Also, this is going back to the sights of the AK. They are not bad, guys. A lot of people are saying that those sights are bad and they cannot compare well to the peep sights. Yes, the peep sights usually will give you the advantage, but please remember that style of the sights was used and is still in use for ages. And again, with the same sights, usually people are performing very well on AK-74, and nobody is complaining then and blaming the sights if their groups are shrinking, right? So yes, those sights are maybe not perfect for everyone, but they are not as bad. Remember, the sight alignment, focus on the front post, perform the nice consistent squeeze on the trigger, and you will deliver hits. All right, that's it. Please let me know if you have any questions on this subject, and I'll be more than happy to deliver the answers. See you in the next video. Bye.